Hi guys, how's it? Kia ora to me Kiwi whanau, g'day to everyone else, and howdy from yet, once again, another hot Lone Star State day here in the state of Texas. A couple of my followers yesterday when I got in my automobile after my shift at work, it was 48 degrees Celsius. So yeah, it's a hot one here, folks. It's the summertime. It's not going away anytime soon, so I will probably be saying that for a while in my videos here. Man, so late last night, early this morning, Wales releases its lineup for the third and final test against the Springboks. This game happening in Cape Town. Unfortunately, I have to be at work early in the morning, so can't do these videos before work. I got to do them when I get home in the evening and after I'm showered and sussed up, so I look all nice for you folks out there in YouTube land. So yes, we've got the lineups. Obviously, we can kind of go through it. 31-29, the final from 2 weeks ago with Damien Willemse kicking the penalty try in extra time and securing the win by a very slim margin there at Loftus in Pretoria. Go next weekend, the very next weekend, last weekend, and we've got the final here. Gareth Anscombe kicking an absolutely insane conversion there and dashing all hopes due to a Springbok error of a comeback in the closing seconds there. Andre Pollard captaining a very inexperienced young side. So we had a week off, and we had a little chance to figure out what we were going to do in this final game of the three-game series to take place this Saturday in Cape Town there. Bit of controversy at the end of my last video, the weekend recap, where I had mentioned a certain Springbok player that I'm not 100% like trying to downplay the guy or anything like that, but the fact of the matter is, and this is a talk that we can kind of have, and I'll go ahead and just have it right now, and that has been the performance of our captain thus far this year, and Siya Kolisi. Now, it was already a polarizing choice when Siya was selected to be captain in itself. Lots of controversy around that, obviously. And for me, I've always been the first to defend the guy. I thought he had a great background. I thought he was a really good captain, very well-spoken man, speaks multiple languages, and very professional. We've kind of started to see, for a better part of it, the chinks in his armor, the damage in his armor a bit as we've gone forward. And I think there's been a lot of disappointment in his captaincy. My disappointment isn't so much in that. It's been his play on the field. We are a very rugby-proud nation, being Springbok fans worldwide, and we've come to expect a certain bit of, dare I say, ferocity from our forwards. That has been our bread and butter for a while now. The bomb squad, the forward pack, the first 8 guys. We have been dominant on that for so long now. And I expect every guy in that first 8 to have that ferocity about the way they play. Now, I'm not saying absolutely all-out monstrous like a guy like Ebenezabeth, or we look in the past somebody like Bucky Sputa, but just that hunger and that desire. And it's just, I don't see it in Siya Kolisi as much anymore. And maybe it's just, hey, he's off his game at the moment. Maybe just needs a little bit of time. Or maybe, hey, he might shut my mouth this weekend for all I know. But I did go out and say that I would have been okay if he came off the bench or didn't get dressed at all. It has nothing to do with my beliefs about the man. It's just his playing level has been, it's left a lot to be desired in recent times. I thought he did okay in the British and Irish Lions series, and there were a couple of moments where he probably should have been a little bit more vocal. And then through the Rugby Championships, the ups and downs, obviously 2 wins against Argentina, and then 2 heartbreaking losses to the Wallabies, and the boot of one Mr. Terrorist Quade Santini Cooper, and then going 1-1 against the All Blacks. I have a lot of opinions about the All Blacks. I could do a totally different video out that. I think this is not the bottom for them. I think they are going to sink even lower under the skipper and the coaching of Fozzie the Clown, because that's exactly what he is. He's a clown. So we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this final of a 3-game series, us welcoming the Welsh into South Africa. So far, obviously the games haven't been 100% what we've all expected as Springbok faithful. But I just have to go ahead and mention the singing of the national anthem at the opening game at Loftus there in Pretoria. If you saw me on my live, I almost wanted to cry to see so many South Africans packed in a stadium and singing the anthem, because it was the first time in so long that we've been able to have fans at the game en masse. And the crowd did not disappoint in Bloemfontein last weekend, and I doubt they will disappoint us at all in Cape Town this weekend. And I tip my hat to those of you South African Springbok faithful who have made it out to these games, who've been going out to the pubs, who've been doing braais in the cold weather to support this team and support this organization and support this emblem for everything that it is. You alone, us, we're what makes this happen. Without us, that team doesn't. It exists, but it's not the same. And I have to tip my hat to all my South African followers, and like I said, all of the Springbok faithful worldwide. The crowds at these games have been absolutely spellbinding, and me as an American who we didn't really have to go through that big of a lockdown or anything like that, and we've been able to go to sporting events, it just warms my heart to see so many South Africans singing along and getting together and having a good time. It's been too long for you guys, and it's so good to see it. So let's go ahead and get into these lineups. We will, of course, do the Welsh lineup. Almost no changes, minimal changes from week to week. I mean, I even went back and looked at the starting lineups for the last 2 games. I think there's like a change in each game, and that was about it. So we've got the same front row as been all 3 weeks. It's going to be Thomas, Elias, and Dylan Lewis will be the front row. Will Rolander and Adam Beard, same locks as always. Lydiot, Tommy Reffel, and Faletau make up that back row. Toby Faletau, excuse me. Same 9-10 combo, Kieran Hardy, and at first 5/8, Dan Bigger, captain. We've got Josh Adams, who scored the heartbreaking try towards the end of the game last weekend. And the deadly in game 1, Luis Rees-Zammit, will be the left and right wings, respectively. At second 5/8, we've got George North, and then we've got Nick Tompkins. Those make up the centers. And Liam Williams, pretty much the same changes. I think Josh Adams was in game 1, not in game 1, yada, 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 that kind of thing. Bench pretty much remains unchanged. We've got Dewey Lake, Wyn Jones, Sam Wainwright, Alan Wyn Jones, the veteran, Navidi, Thomas Williams, Gareth Anscombe, who was the heartbreaker last weekend, and Owen Watkin will make up the bench. So I'm not even going to count the amount of changes. We knew there were going to be a lot after that second game going into game 3. Jacques Nienaber, he has, to me, put together mostly the best lineup that we could with what we had. And this isn't a bad lineup. Front row will be Trevor Nakane, Manambi, and Franz Maherba. Manambi will be doing the hooker duty there, doing the lineouts and whatnot. Big man Eben Etzebeth, the Centurion now, will be the Centurion now, and Lou de Hager will be our locks. Captain Siya Kolisi and Peter Steph du Toit, who I thought had an amazing game last week, will be our flankers. And at number 8, the battle has been decided. It'll be Jasper Wiese coming in at number 8. A decision I did agree with 100%. We get Jaden Hendrickse getting the start at scrum half. And at first 5/8, of course, Andre Pollard. Makazoli Mapimpi, Cheslin Kolbe, the 1-2 left and right wing combo there. No worries on either of those guys. And right back at the 12 and 13 spot, the formidable duo of Damien Dialende and Lucanio Am. Damien Willemse will get the start at fullback for the week. Not an issue there. I do enjoy having Willie LaRue come off the bench and support. He's a really good veteran, and great guy. Kind of fell off a bit, but I'm really enjoying his role as kind of being, since we don't have Friends or Mornay on the roster, he's becoming kind of the old guy that saves our butts a bit off the bench. Malcolm Marks, Kitsoff, and Vincent Koch will be the replacement front row guys, which they could start, they could come off the bench. Either way, they're going to be deadly, especially Malcolm Marks off of those lineouts. He's really accurate with those lineouts, and then for some reason the ball ends up in his hands, and they run it in off of the mauls off of lineouts there. Franco Mustard will be a flanker and or a lock replacement with his height, and Quagga Smith, who I believe should have started the game. Elrin Lowe will be the replacement at number 8, it looks like. Faf de Klerk coming off the bench after a beautiful rendition of the national anthem last weekend in Bloemfontein. And somebody sent me that, it did look, it looked like him a bit. And then Willie LaRue, the last guy, number 23 jersey, coming off the veteran anchor there. So my predictions for this game. So there's the hope, and then there's the reality. The hope is that we beat the brakes off the Welsh. We make this a statement game. That we're not playing around. The reality is, I predict a win by no more than 10 points. The hope is that we beat the brakes off of the Welsh. Like, it's not even close. We've got 4 Southern Hemisphere games this weekend. Well, games in the Southern, big ones happening in the Southern Hemisphere. We've got the All Blacks losing to Ireland. I've got the Wallabies beating the English. I've got us beating the Welsh. And I've got the RGs beating Scotland. This is not rock bottom for the All Blacks. They're about to fill rock bottom when the Rugby Championship happens, when they've got to come to South Africa. And I will make the prediction here, folks. The Blood is Low Cup will be going to Australia this year. I've got it. You can mark me for it, whatever you say. I've already talked to my All Blacks fans. They can see it happening. Fozzie the Clown is going to do that for them. But back to this, like I said, I hope we beat the brakes off of them. Now, whether that happens or not will remain to be seen. A scoreline like this is not what I want to see. With the talent that we are putting on the pitch this weekend, this is not an acceptable scoreline. We should beat the brakes off of these guys with what we have in the front and in the back. Cheslin Kolbe is world class. Mapimpi is world class. Dialende and Lucanio are one of the best center combos in all of world rugby, in my opinion, and in a lot of other opinions too. These guys are world-class players. We should play like a world-class team this weekend. And if we play like a world-class team this weekend, we will beat the brakes off the Welsh. They don't have a chance in Cape Town this Saturday. But the reality of it is, once again, this is not an acceptable scoreline, and neither was week 1. We need to make a statement this weekend to let people know that while the All Blacks are falling, we are not going to fall. We are not here to fall. We are here to rise, because that's what Springboks do. From the darkest moments of this team in 2017 to winning a World Cup, and I'd be one of the most honest comments, I did not pick us to win the World Cup. We had hit rock bottom before Rossi had come around. And we won it all. Now, I never got rid of my jersey. I never stopped having faith. But I didn't see it happening. And then COVID hit, and we wondered what was going to happen. We got a British and Irish Lions series, heaps of controversy around that, Rossi, everything, and we still won that series. We went in strong as hell into the Rugby Championship, hit a ginormous speed bump playing Australia, got a little something out of the All Blacks, and here we are. Once again, we should be 2-0. We shouldn't be 1-1. Wales is not that good. They are a team on the rebuild. Dan Biggar will make it to the next World Cup, and that'll probably be it for him. They have some young talent, but they're not loaded with young talent. We just saw what our U20 team did to their U20 team. Beat the brakes off of Wales' U20 team. And that's what the Springboks need to do this weekend. They need to beat the brakes. They need to make a statement and let everyone know in the world, much like one of the best quotes, screw what they think they know about you. Show them who you are. Screw what the doubters say. Let's show who we are. So once again, I will be going live for the video. Some people ask me, hey, why do you do that? I don't have heaps of people show up. Honestly, I live in America. There's not a lot of... I could go to a pub and try to get them to show it. They probably wouldn't. There's a local business. Anton shows the game. I'm just not like a big crowd person as much as I used to be. And it's kind of cool just to sit here and watch it. At least it's like I'm not watching it by myself in my living room or in my studio here. You guys come by, we say hi, we chit chat, we yada yada yada, whatever. And we get to watch the game. And I get to have good memories of watching the game because I'm broadcasting it and people are just coming by to say hi. But with that being said, last thing I'll say it once more, we need to beat the brakes. This is not acceptable. We need to beat the brakes off of Wales this weekend. So go Springboks. I'm sorry, All Blacks fans. Wallabies and Los Pumas. Let's go 3 for 4, man. Let's show that the South is dominant. Let's show the Southern Hemisphere is still the best. Because, in my opinion, that'll never change. Even though I live in America and I do follow USA Rugby and I support the MLR and all that, the South is still king when it comes to this game, folks. Look at how many Rugby World Cups are south of the equator and look at how many are north. That's all I gotta say. I'll see you guys again soon. Cheers, guys. Be safe.